order to make very strong shelving units, you need to learn how to make dados or grooves or rabbets. They are all the very similar thing. As you can see here, based on the grain direction, a groove is parallel to the grain direction, a dado goes across it, and a rabbet is just on the edge. It only has one side.
This is our simple project for today.
We have a project in which we require a groove so we can put shelf units on top of it or shelvings, and it is too wide to safely be done on the table saw even if you had dado blades. So we're going to show you today an alternative method that you can make them safely and easily using a hand router, a device that you can purchase for as little as $19. So here we show you how this whole process works. As you can see, we have put two pieces of wood, and in between them we've sandwiched our router, which is exactly what you will have to do as well. And by running the router through the two pieces, the router has no option but move to the direction we want it and leaves a very nice straight channel.
Fantastical.
Yeah. Well, you have to do it how many times more?
And the more funner part, funner part is that these boards have to be slid down and replaced and reclamped and redone for every single one of these channels. So we're going to get to that.
So we wanted to make sure that our channels are evenly spaced, and we came up with, about 10 inches, give or take a little bit, between each shelf. So what we did was we made a mark using a storyboard from where the original channel pieces were here, and the distance between the channel lip and the bottom. And so we took it was 1.5 inches, so we're taking a 2 by 4. This is actually a 2 by 3, but the thickness is the same.
It's still that 1.5 inch for the dimensional lumber.
Right? So we used that here, we put it here and lined it up,
and we had
made a mark, and then that is the distance between the mark where we want our board to be and the braces on both sides.
Okay.
Now these numbers will be different based on your router base. So that 1.5 does not mean you have to copy it, because if your router base is a different dimension, it will not be 1.5.
We're just explaining how we did it that fits this router base.
And then one last thing, we wanted to make sure that both ends of the channel braces were, first of all, square, so that nice and square there, nice and square over here, and that the distance between them is even all the way across. Got it right at 5 1/4 here.
It's very important to making sure that your two boards are parallel to each other to ensure a very straight channel or groove or dado. It is the same thing. Routers are directional tools that cut from left to right, but that can be very hard to remember or figure out when you're going away from you or towards you or on a different direction above you. So using this method, even for a novice, will allow you to have a very acceptable result, even if you're going against the way that the router wants to cut, which is intentionally what I'm doing here to demonstrate to you that it is as easy as before and gives you very similar results.
So you don't get all the sawdust in it. So we have rearranged our board. So this is where we had started, and we moved down. We've got these channels all done, and we are about to do the last channel, and we just routed the second to last one. We're moving our guide boards.
And if I was to point out something without our new table, we couldn't have done this.
Right. This would have been a really difficult project. And so, again, we've got just about all of our channels done. The only thing different is that the very top one was done at the very end, so it's going to be here along this edge so that the board will sit kind of in a depression, right?
Yeah, and it's a hard one, and you can actually use a different size board and go freely on top or in between if you want to.
Right. We just chose to continue doing the channels to keep it consistent. Okay?
Okay, and how we're doing this, Mrs. DIY? Take us through the process.
All right.
You've made your marks.
I've made marks. This is the mark that shows where the edge of the channel will be.
In our case, that's what, about 9.5 inches?
Yeah, it would sit like so. Yep. So it's from this edge right here to this edge, and that would start the next channel. So I have my storyboard that I'll put right up next to the line. That's where the edge will be. And then we put our brace right up next to that and secure it in place.
And again, this distance, the 1.5 inches, is dependent on your router plate. That is not going to be a set distance, right?
Right.
Or even the distance between the shelves. That's arbitrary. We chose to have it that. It is not there is not a specific reason for it.
So then we're making sure it's square.
Because in essence, everything is based on this, right?
Yep. Then we make our channels width based on the width of the router.
And you want it not too tight, because you need to be moving the router, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It has to be able to move through the channel, but you don't want it to rock from side to side.
Okay. The router is the perfect tool to make dados, which we continually refer to as channels here, but we are in essence making dados. And if you go slowly and you have a sharp beat, you have a really excellent result that can help you align your projects and make sure they're square. In any case, go slow and with a steady hand, and you're going to have absolutely perfect results every time. The best way to make dados. It works better if you don't step on the router cable.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but there it is. It's a very nice, fine channel.
So all this fun we had today, and this was the outcome, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in our purpose, this is going to be a shoe cubby, right? But it can be, you can use the exact building methodology and make a bookcase of any size you want. That is the fun part of DIY. I've made bookcases for my sons that in some cases people wanted $1,000 to build because of the size, right? But still in materials, it was not even close to $100. So identical methodology, you're going to have a display cabinet, a shoe caddy. You can actually put, if you make the right dimensions,
The little buckets.
The cloth, what do you call them?
Cloth buckets, cubes,
Cloth
yeah.
cubes, yeah. So the same things that we show you, the techniques we show you, can be used to make a plethora of things. So friends, here we are back from the garage, and here is our shoe organizer. And again, it can be many different things. I need it for a shoe organizer, but one of the fun things about DIY, you can make projects like this to address any organizational need you might have, right?
Right.
So ladies, what did we learn from this build? Double, triple check the wood you buy.
Yeah, so for
Yeah,
sizing.
that's a big one.
We ended up with different width boards, which it was our bad.
Mm-hmm.
But neither of us caught it. Three sets of eyes. None of us caught it.
I don't think we've had that much variance before, though.
No, I don't think so either.
We usually have a very slight variance, but today was a very
About
large.
an inch.
Yeah, it was a very large variance in the sizing of the wood.
And really a smaller variance, an eighth or a fourth wouldn't be a big deal.
Right.
Not a deal.
The deal.
But that was just long enough to cause us to have to re-mill things, right?
Right.
What was the hardest part of this?
Getting everything in the right channels, really.
Right.
Well, and there was, the boards weren't perfectly straight. So there was a little bit of bowing that we had to address and getting them in the right channel.
Right. And the thickness was not quite, our channels were the correct thickness because we used a 5/8 router bit. But either you have to spend hours hammering them in, or if you have a thickness planer, I cannot speak now.
A plainness thickener, that's a new one.
Do what we did and actually thin them a little bit, right? And we only took one pass. We didn't remove a lot of material, right?
Right, but then they were perfect.
Yeah, then they fit very nice snug fit.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a project that we could not, you can buy shoe organizers, of course, in stores, right? But the shoe organizer to fit this specific space would be a very tall order to fill.
Right. And that's one of the very cool things about DIY is when you have a need, you can make it specific to what you need.
Correct. We hope this was of some value. We just wanted to have a little bit of fun. And if you did, let us know if you want to see more episodes like that in future episodes of our channel. If you like this episode, please give us a thumbs up. If you didn't, smash the other button twice. Share, like, subscribe. Let me and Elpida know if you want to see any more episodes like this in the future. Let's build something together.